Okay, imagine this for a second. What if you were shot with a poisoned arrow? Seriously, would you waste your precious time asking who shot it or what their name was or what kind of wood the arrow was made from? Or would you focus on the only thing that matters, getting that poison out fast? Today, we are diving deep into one of the Buddha's most urgent and practical teachings, the parable of the poisoned arrow. You know, what's so great about this teaching is that it doesn't start with some lofty, abstract theory. Nope. It kicks off with a very real, very human problem brought to the Buddha by a concerned disciple named Sunakkhatta. So he's looking around at this whole community of spiritual seekers, and he sees a lot of people claiming they've reached the ultimate goal. And he asks a question that honestly feels like it could have been asked yesterday. How can we tell who's the real deal? Who is genuinely free and who is just, well, fooling themselves and maybe fooling everybody else too?
And the Buddha's response is incredibly direct. He doesn't dodge the question at all. He basically confirms Sunakkhatta's suspicion. He says, yup, some people are truly free, but others, they're operating from a place of adimana, which is this kind of spiritual conceit, a mistaken belief that they've crossed the finish line, when in reality, they're still lost in the woods. Now, to answer how you spot the difference, the Buddha doesn't just hand over a simple checklist. That would be too easy. Instead, he paints this incredible picture of what true liberation actually looks like. He describes it as a process, a series of profound stages of letting go. Think of it like shedding heavy layers of clothing on a hot day. The journey to real inner freedom isn't some single dramatic event. It's this gradual, irreversible release from everything we cling to, from the most obvious stuff, like worldly desires, to the most subtle attachments of the mind. So the first level of freedom he talks about is this complete release from worldly attachments, and he describes it as totally final. I mean, think about it. A yellow leaf that's already fallen from a tree, it can't just magically turn green again and reattach itself. The separation is permanent. It's done.
And then he dials it up a notch with an even more powerful image. This next stage is about letting go of deeper things, like being attached to really blissful states in meditation. When that bond is broken, it's like a massive boulder that's been shattered right down the middle. You can't just glue it back together. That break is complete. It is irreversible.
The final stage is total liberation, and the image for this is just, wow. It's compared to a palm tree that's been cut down at its very root. It's not just been trimmed, it's been made fundamentally unable to grow again. The roots of suffering, that's craving and ignorance, are so completely dug up that they can never ever sprout again.
Okay, so you might be wondering, why did the Buddha lay out this whole path of irreversible letting go first? Well, it was to give us a crystal clear picture of what a cured patient actually looks like. With that image of true health fresh in our minds, he delivers his main point with a vivid story that's both graphic and incredibly insightful. All right, here's the story. A man is hit by an arrow, but this is no ordinary arrow. The tip has been thickly coated with a fast-acting, deadly poison. The situation is absolutely critical. His life is literally hanging by a thread. His friends and family rush him to a skilled surgeon, and this surgeon doesn't waste a single second. They get right to work, cutting open the wound with a scalpel, using a probe to find the arrowhead, carefully pulling the arrow out, and then meticulously cleaning every last drop of poison from the wound. But here's where it gets really interesting. The most important part is what happens after the operation. The surgeon gives the exact same instructions to two different patients. The foolish patient thinks, hey, the arrow's out, I'm cured, and immediately goes out and starts eating junk food and totally neglecting the wound. But the wise patient, they diligently follow the aftercare plan, eating healing foods, keeping the wound spotless. And the result? Well, the foolish patient gets a nasty infection and dies. The wise one makes a full recovery. This right here is the aha moment. The Buddha pulls back the curtain and reveals that this isn't just a medical drama. Every single element in that story is a symbol for our own inner experience. So here's the map. The wound isn't physical. It actually symbolizes our six senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thought. The arrow that pierces us, that's sala, which means craving. The deadly poison smeared on the tip is avijja, or ignorance. And that expert surgeon who knows exactly how to remove it all, that's the Tathagata, the Buddha himself. Every piece of the story has a direct parallel in our inner world. So this means that just hearing a teaching, having the arrow removed, is only the first step. That's the person who thinks they're cured but dies anyway. The real healing, the difference between life and death, is in the aftercare, mindfully tending to our senses and not letting that poison of ignorance and craving reinfect the wound.
So what does it actually feel like to be the wise patient, the one who fully recovers? The Buddha describes a mind that basically becomes immune to these poisons. It's a state we could call poison-proof wisdom. A person who is truly healed sees one thing with unshakable clarity, that attachment, or upati, is the absolute root of all suffering. And this isn't just some intellectual idea, it's a direct, gut-level perception. And once you truly see this, your behavior changes automatically. To really drive this home, the Buddha asks this powerful rhetorical question. Let's say you were thirsty, and someone offered you a beautiful, inviting cup, but you knew for a fact that it was full of deadly poison. Would you drink it? The answer is obvious, right? Of course not. Your fundamental desire to live and be well would make you just recoil from it. You wouldn't even need to debate it. The refusal would be totally instinctive.
And then he uses an even more visceral image, just to make sure we get it. Would that same person wanting to live see a deadly snake and just deliberately reach out to get bitten? Again, it's just unthinkable. And this is the final brilliant point. For a truly healed mind, engaging with thoughts and actions that are rooted in greed, hatred, and ignorance feels just as obviously self-destructive as drinking poison or grabbing a snake. They don't have to force themselves to be good. Their wisdom makes them naturally recoil from whatever causes suffering. So this ancient parable gives us an incredibly powerful diagnostic tool. Are we the patient who gets the arrow pulled out but then just neglects the wound? Or are we the patient who diligently, carefully follows the aftercare? The diagnosis has been made and the cure has been prescribed. The only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?